The man was lying in ambush on the mountain, waiting for the enemy, but he noticed his bullets were veering off course. Even stranger, other team members were experiencing the same issue. There were only 2 enemy soldiers below, yet more than a dozen rifles couldn't hit them. So, one burly man charged down the hillside. He placed his rifle in the back of the truck, then quietly circled around to flank the enemies. Once both enemy soldiers were dead, the burly man quickly grabbed a pistol from the ground. But just as he was showing off his trophy, the man demanded he hand it over, saying it needed to be submitted to the organization. Much to their disappointment, all they found in the truck were a few boxes of canned food. The burly man wanted to burn the truck with gasoline, but the man stopped him, because the truck could still serve a greater purpose. Since none of them knew how to drive, they had no choice but to push the truck. After much effort, they finally pushed the vehicle up the mountain. They hid the truck under a pile of dry grass. Then the man dragged the enemy corpses to a grassy field. He pulled out a megaphone and shouted at the enemies in the watchtower. But after just 2 sentences, the megaphone was riddled with bullet holes. Still, he didn't give up. He picked it up again and told the enemy to prepare some weapons and ammunition to trade for their stolen truck. Then he had the soldiers dress in enemy uniforms and staged a fake execution scene. The enemy officer was furious at the blackmail, but he had no choice if he wanted the truck and supplies back. He agreed to the deal, but set up an ambush at the exchange site, planning to wipe out the guerrillas. The next day, the enemy laid out weapons and ammunition on the ground. Seeing that the truck hadn't arrived, the officer claimed they weren't taking the deal seriously. The man told him to look up at the mountain with his binoculars. His teammates had already staged a convincing setup for the enemy to observe. After confirming the supplies were in order, the man had his team move everything out. Then he ordered the enemy officer to withdraw his ambush troops. The officer was furious, but since he hadn't recovered the truck, he had to hold back. He soon led his troops up the mountain, sending in engineers to inspect the area. Sure enough, they dug up 2 landmines in the clearing. The officer was thrilled, thinking the guerrillas only knew such petty tricks. Then he ordered a soldier to start the truck. But the moment the soldier turned the key, the truck exploded. It turned out, the guerrillas had buried a landmine under the gas tank.